welcome to the Coupa Supplier Portal training webinar. We're going to go ahead and get started. We are hosting this training session in order to give you an overview of the Coupa Supplier Portal, which will allow you to transact with Flint Hills resources via our new Coupa platform. We are very excited about the introduction of Coupa to Flint Hills resources, and our end goal is to create a more efficient invoicing and requisitioning process in our transition from Ariba to Coupa. Please note that this is a closed training session. If you still have questions after this session, we will be providing the training materials on FHR's website after all of the training sessions are complete on June 2nd. Additionally, individual questions will be and individualized support will be provided on a case-by-case basis. Please feel free to reach out to your FHR Supplier Enablement team, whose contact information will be made available at the end of this presentation with any additional questions or feedback. We will be reviewing a variety of different topics throughout today's training. We will start with an introduction to Coupa and review how you will benefit as a supplier. We will then move into defining the Coupa Supplier Portal and how to set up your supplier profile and overall account. We will then review an alternative to the Coupa Supplier Portal called the Supplier Actionable Notification functionality. We will compare and contrast the Supplier Actionable Notification functionality to the Coupa Supplier Portal so that you as a supplier can make an educated guess as to which functionality is best for you. We will then review typical activities you will complete as a supplier within the Coupa Supplier Portal after registering. We will review reporting functionality, payment information, and next steps that you will need to take in our transition from Ariba to Coupa. By participating in this presentation of the Coupa Supplier Portal, you will be able to gain a basic understanding of the Coupa system and its introduction at Flint Hills resources. You will learn how to register and set up your profile on the Coupa Supplier Portal. You will learn how to perform basic navigation of the Coupa Supplier Portal. You will learn how to view and manage purchase orders and create invoices and credit memos via the PO Flip functionality. Coupa is a cloud-based and user-friendly procure-to-pay platform used by many major customers across the world. Flint Hills Resources has selected Coupa as the technology platform with the objective of streamlining its procure-to-pay processes and enabling electronic transactions. FHR selected Coupa because Coupa is a leading e-procurement platform connecting buyers with their business partners. Coupa has the capability for suppliers to receive purchase orders, submit invoices, and respond to RFPs directly in the platform. The Coupa Supplier Portal, or CSP, as will be commonly referred to throughout the duration of this training, can be used to request services, create and communicate purchase orders, and receive invoices. Lastly, the Coupa Supplier Portal is free with no costs for Flint Hills Resources suppliers. There are several benefits you will receive as a supplier upon registering for the Coupa Supplier Portal. Some of these include those listed on the slide here, as well as the ability to automatically view purchase orders in your supplier portal account as soon as they are created in Coupa. You will also have the ability to flip purchase orders to invoices and submit non-PO backed invoices. Using the Coupa Supplier Portal, you will have the ability to see a consolidated view of all purchase orders and invoices. You will also have the ability to receive purchase order and invoice status notifications and the option to resubmit disputed invoices. Using the Coupa Supplier Portal, you will enjoy the automated routing of invoices and have access to strong reporting capabilities. We will now review what actions you will take once you receive your Coupa Supplier Portal invitation and how you will set up your supplier profile. It is preferred that all suppliers connect to the Coupa platform to transact with Flint Hills Resources successfully. FHR will send you an invitation to join the Coupa Supplier Portal. Check that the email address inbox in which the invite was received is the primary contact to receive all purchase orders at your company. Once you receive the invite, you can click on the link within within the invite to confirm the request to interact with FHR on Coupa. If you receive the invitation and you are the incorrect person at your company to be transacting with Flint Hills Resources on Coupa, there are two actions you should take. First, inform the Flint Hills Resources Supplier Enablement contact. Again, the information will be provided at the end of this presentation. And forward the email invitation to the correct contact at your company. You can forward the invitation by selecting the Forward this Invitation button directly on the email that you receive. Again, the email you receive to join the Coupa Supplier Portal will have two buttons containing the options to again forward the email or join Coupa. If you're the incorrect person, simply select Forward the email, or if you are the correct person to be transacting with FHR on Coupa, select Join Coupa, and you will be prompted to create a new login on the Coupa Supplier Portal for Flint Hills Resources. After selecting Join Coupa, you will fill out your information on the Coupa Supplier Portal to create a new account. You will click the checkboxes, the appropriate checkboxes to accept the terms of use, and then you will be able to get started on the portal. The images on the screen here show an example of what you will see when you receive the invitation to join the Coupa Supplier Portal. As you can see in the image on the left, there are two options on the emailed invitation: Join Coupa and Forward this invitation. If you receive the invitation and you are the incorrect person to be transacting with Flint Hills Resources, simply select Forward this invitation to send it to the correct contact and tell Flint Hills Resources who the primary contact should be moving forward. If you are the correct person, you do not need to select Forward this invitation. You can simply select Join Coupa and you will be taken to the screen on the right. This will prompt you to input some information to create your account, select the privacy policy and terms of use, accept it, and then get started. If you already have a Coupa Supplier Portal account with a different customer, there is no need to consistently maintain a separate account for FHR with a separate login. There are very simple steps you can follow to merge your Coupa Supplier Portal accounts. To do so, on the home page, you will navigate to the Setup tab across the top of the screen. Select the option that says Merge Requests on the left-hand side of the screen. You will then select the option to request merge of the supplier accounts you would like to merge to one Coupa Supplier Portal account. To merge another account, select the Request Merge button again. Existing Coupa Supplier Portal accounts can also send merge requests, where you will simply navigate to the Admin sub-tab under the Main Setup tab. Here, you can also view your merge requests and begin responding to them by accepting or rejecting. Keep in mind that accounts that are merged cannot be undone. On the homepage of the Coupa Supplier Portal, select the Profile tab followed by the Profile Setup tab to begin updating your supplier profile. It is imperative that your supplier information is continuously up to date, so there is no incorrect contact information or missed information being sent to an incorrect person at your company. Once you are on the Profile Setup page, you will select the subsections on the left-hand side to begin updating your information if it is not already updated. Some examples of information you will be prompted to update include who you are, what you do, what sets you apart, who you work with, and financial information. For each section you would like updated, select the Edit Section button. This can be seen in the image on the left, outlined in red. After you have made the updates, be sure to select Save Changes to save your information, and always remember to verify that everything is correctly input. When FHR needs more information from you, they will send a SIM, or Supplier Information Management request, via a form. When they send the information request, you will receive a notification via the Coupa Supplier Portal. To view the request, hover over the word Notifications at the top right of the screen, and click on See All Notifications from the drop-down menu. Once you click on the See All Notifications hyperlink, you will be navigated to the My Notifications screen. Under the My Notifications screen, you can search for the notification that is requesting for you to update your profile. And once you find the notification, simply click on the Update Profile notification. You will then be navigated to the Information Requests section under the Profile tab. The images on the screen here show the Information Requests section. You can also directly navigate to this section, the Information Request section, by selecting the Profile tab and the Information Request sub-tab to respond to the form. Again, you can navigate here two different ways: by selecting the See All Notifications and selecting the correct notification prompting you to update your information, or by navigating to the Profile tab and then the Information Request sub-tab. On the Information Requests Update Information screen, you will see the information icon at the right, which will let you as a supplier know that the request for information originated from the buyer. This can be seen in the image on the right side of the screen, outlined in red. On this screen, add and update the details with the correct and most up-to-date information for your company. Once you are finished, scroll down and click on Submit for approval to submit the form and satisfy the request for information. The Legal Entities Setup page allows you to view a list of all of the existing legal entities and manage or add new legal entities directly from this page. You can set up your portal account to be able to create and send invoices from the Legal Entities Setup page. Here, you can provide more remit to accounts and add this information to your legal entities so that your customers can use different payment methods when working with you, for example. Please note, if you have 3 or more legal entities listed, the list becomes collapsed. To view each legal entity's details, simply click on the down arrows. This can be seen in the image on the left. To begin adding legal entity information, click on the Setup tab from the top menu bar and select Legal Entity Setup from the menu on the left. You will then click on the Add Legal Entity button, enter your legal entity information, and then click Continue. You will then be prompted to complete the invoice address details. Note that if the remit to address and ship from addresses are the same as the invoice address, enable the Use this address for remit to and Use this address for ship from checkboxes. If the remit to or ship from addresses are different than the invoice address, disable these checkboxes and manually enter a unique address for the invoice address. As always, click Save and Continue when you're finished and ensure to review the information to verify that it is correct. We will now discuss the process to add and edit users and their permissions. User permissions grant access to users to corresponding items. For example, as an admin user, you have all permissions by default. You can manage user permissions and customer access by assigning certain users to only certain customers and by limiting what types of documents they can access and what functions they can perform with their assigned customers. You can change the user's name, email address, customer access, and other items from the Edit Customer screen, which we will review soon. To begin the process of adding a new user, navigate to the Setup tab and on the sub-menu bar, select Admin. Select the Users tab on the left-hand side and click Invite User. An Invite User pop-up window will then appear. You will be prompted to enter the user's information, including their first and last name and email address, and you can also adjust the permissions as needed in the Permissions section. You are also able to select the customer the user can have access to under the Customers section. Once you are finished, you can select the button at the bottom of the screen, Send Invitation, to send the Invite User invitation to the user. You are also able to edit existing users on your portal account. Navigate to the Setup tab on the top of the screen and select Admin on the sub-menu bar. Select the Users tab on the left-hand side again, and select Edit located under the user's name, and an Edit User Access pop-up window will appear. Here, you will be able to enable or disable the permissions under the Permissions section. You can also restrict or grant access to specific customers by checking and unchecking the boxes. Once you are finished, select Save to save the changes you made to the user's profile. Similar to how you are able to edit users and their permissions, you can also manage your own notification preferences. Begin by hovering your cursor over the Notifications link at the top right of the screen to see your unread system notifications. Keep in mind that only the 3 most recent notifications are shown. To view all notifications with their details and manage them, click on the Notifications button that you previously hovered over, and you will be taken to the Notifications page where you can view all of your read and unread notifications, or you can filter by category, including to-do, unread, announcements, and several others. And you can also begin to manage your notifications by selecting all or deleting one by one. To change your notification preferences, however, hover over your name at the top right corner of the screen and click on the Notification Preferences hyperlink. Again, to view your notifications, you will click on the Notifications hyperlink at the top right of the screen shown in the image on the screen. However, to change your notification preferences, you will refer to your name at the top right of the screen and click on the Notification Preferences hyperlink. Once you click on this hyperlink, you will be taken to the Account Notifications Preferences page. Here, you will be able to select the radio buttons for the items that you want to receive any or all of the notification types for, which can include online, email, or SMS text notifications. Once you make your updates and save your changes, you will begin receiving notifications in the format that you select. We will now review how to view and manage catalogs within the Coupa Supplier Portal. After registering for the Coupa Supplier Portal and following the instructions we've discussed over the previous few slides to both update your information and manage your settings, you can also manage catalog update requests from the Supplier Portal as well. This ensures that all of your product information is up to date. Start by clicking on the Catalogs tab on the main menu. You will then be navigated to the Catalogs page, and you will be able to view the Catalogs table, which can be seen in the image on the screen. From the Select Customer drop-down list on the Catalogs page, which is located at the top right corner, select the customer whose catalogs you want to see. In the image, you can see that Flint Hills Resources is selected as the customer. Once you select the customer, the Catalogs table displays information for all of the catalogs you created for the selected customer. You can export the catalogs in CSV or Excel format if you choose. You can also filter the catalogs table by column, use the search bar to filter with a search term, or click on the View drop-down list to perform advanced filtering. To create a catalog for a customer, go to the Catalogs page, select the customer from the Select Customer drop-down list in the top right corner, and click on the Create button in the Catalogs table. And you can either bulk upload catalog items or individually create them. To view a catalog, however, you can click on the catalog name in the catalog table. You can see in the leftmost column of the catalog table, the demo supplier name 15 and demo supplier name catalog 14 are outlined in red. Clicking on these hyperlinks will take you to their specific catalog pages where you can view details on these catalogs. On the catalog page, you can view a list of the individual catalog items, and if you select an item, you can view the item's unique details. You can create as many catalogs as you want. but each catalog must be approved by your customer before it can be included in Coupa search results. As previously mentioned, you are able to bulk upload catalog items or update item details via the Load from File button, or individually via the Create button. As always, be sure to click Submit for approval when catalog updates, additions, or changes are complete to automatically send for FHR's review. The images on the screen here show that you can navigate to create new catalog items, load catalog items from a file, and review the catalog items that you uploaded and submit them for approval for FHR. If you are a punch-out catalog capable supplier, you are also able to fill out your punch-out catalog credentials or update them in the form shown on the screen. Simply click on Configure Punch-Out on the catalog page top right section beneath the Select Customer drop-down menu. Keep in mind, however, that FHR will contact you directly to enable punch-out capabilities. You should not be enabling punch-out capabilities without first speaking with the FHR Supplier Enablement team. We will now review an alternative option to the Coupa Supplier Portal. Should you as a supplier be reluctant to join another network, remember another password, or go to another website to occasionally receive a purchase order or send an invoice. Using SAN, or Supplier Actionable Notifications, you are able to transact with Flint Hills Resources without having to register or log into the Coupa Supplier Portal. Although we highly recommend the Coupa Supplier Portal per the reasons discussed at the beginning of this training, it is an excellent opportunity to utilize the SAN function depending on your transaction amount with FHR. Supplier Actionable Notifications allow suppliers to act on POs directly from email notifications for purchase orders created in Coupa. Suppliers will have the option to acknowledge a purchase order, create an invoice, add a comment to a purchase order, or even create a Coupa Supplier Portal account if you later decide to take advantage of the benefits of working with your customers through the Coupa Supplier Portal and no longer wish to use the Supplier Actionable Notification functionality. Suppliers also receive notifications after they submit an invoice, letting you know when your customers perform an action. This improves transparency and further reduces the need for suppliers to track down the status of their invoices through phone calls or emails. Note that suppliers that are already registered for the Coupa Supplier Portal can also take advantage of the SAN functionality and vice versa. We will now compare and contrast the Coupa Supplier Portal and the SAN functionality. In the Coupa Supplier Portal, transmitted purchase orders go directly into the Coupa Supplier Portal account. The Coupa Supplier Portal is free of charge to suppliers that use it. It offers a centralized repository view of all purchase orders and enables easy order management and communication with lines of business. The Coupa Supplier Portal is ideal for medium to high transaction volume suppliers. However, suppliers will have to re-enter standard organizational data like tax IDs upon registration. Because purchase orders are going directly into one repository where you can review all purchase orders created and sent to your company, this allows for a more automated experience and is best suited for suppliers with the most and high transaction volume with FHR. On the other hand, with the Supplier Actionable Notification functionality, transmitted purchase orders are sent via email directly to the associated supplier contact. It is easy to use for smaller suppliers that may be hesitant to register for the Coupa Supplier Portal. However, just like the Coupa Supplier Portal, the Supplier Actionable Notification functionality is also free of charge to suppliers that choose to go this route. With SAN, you are not allowed to submit credit notes or FI invoices. The Supplier Actionable Notification functionality is a more manual process as you must interact with the email notification in order to view a purchase order and begin creating an invoice, which is what makes it more suitable for suppliers with less transactions with FHR. Again, if a supplier is linked to the Coupa supplier portal, they will be able to automatically view the purchase orders as soon as they are created in Coupa. They will not have to wait for an emailed notification, and it is best suited for high transaction volume suppliers. For supplier actionable notifications, or SAN, this PO transmission method is maintained in the supplier's record for Coupa, along with the associated email address. Each time a PO is created for that supplier, the PO is automatically emailed to the supplier's email address. This is why it is imperative to continuously maintain contact with the FHR supplier enablement team to keep the primary contact information up to date. The supplier actionable notification functionality is best suited for lower transaction volume suppliers when the supplier may not support joining the Coupa supplier portal. Using SAN, suppliers will be able to quickly receive and acknowledge purchase orders via email. As a supplier, you will have the ability to act directly from your inbox when you receive a purchase order notification email. The notification email will include several action buttons, including Acknowledge PO, which gives the user the ability to acknowledge the incoming purchase order, the Create Invoice button, which gives the user the ability to create an invoice against a PO or a PO flip, and the Add Comment button, which gives the ability to the user to add a comment that FHR will then be able to view. The images on the screen here show what screens you will be taken to after selecting each of the interactive buttons on the emailed notification for the purchase order. The images on the left show the purchase order details screen, which you as a supplier will be able to review and then acknowledge to let FHR know that you have seen the purchase order and are working to create an invoice. At the bottom of the purchase order screen, you can see the Create Invoice button, which you will then select to begin creating your invoice and inputting your invoice details, your invoice date, any notes or comments that you want to leave for FHR as well. And this can be seen in the image on the right. Once you are finished adding and updating all the invoice details, you will then click the Submit button at the bottom of the invoice screen to submit your invoice for review for FHR. For further review, if applicable, suppliers who are already registered on the Coupa supplier portal can manage orders by clicking on the Login Now button and access a purchase order via their Coupa supplier portal account directly from their email notification of the purchase order. In other words, Coupa supplier portal users can also opt to receive email notifications via the supplier actionable notification functionality. On each emailed notification of a purchase order, there will also be an option to log into your Coupa supplier portal account. Additionally, you will have the ability, if you are a strictly SAN supplier, to also create a Coupa supplier portal account directly from the email notifications that you receive if you later decide to interact with your customers on the Coupa supplier portal. It works both ways and allows for the most convenient access to purchase orders if you choose to interact with your customers on the Coupa supplier portal after previously choosing SAN. Now that we have reviewed an alternative to the Coupa supplier portal, we will jump back into detailing more activities that you as a supplier will be required to complete on the Coupa supplier portal after you register. We will start by reviewing how to receive and view purchase orders that are sent to you. To view a purchase order, first click on the Orders tab at the top of the screen, and you will be navigated to the Orders page, which contains the purchase orders table, which can be seen in the image on the screen. From the Select Customer drop-down list, which we previously saw on the Catalogs page, select the customer whose purchase orders you want to see. The Select Customer drop-down list will be located at the right-hand side of the screen. For the purpose of this training, you can see that Flint Hills Resources has been selected as the customer. Note that when you visit this page again, it will show the purchase orders from the customer you selected the last time, if you manage multiple customers from one portal account. The purchase orders table shows several pieces of information for all of the purchase orders you received from the selected customer. You can filter the purchase orders table by columns, use the search bar to filter with a search term, or click on the View drop-down list to perform advanced filtering. Advanced filtering can further filter purchase orders by purchase order number, order date, status, which can include buyer hold, canceled, currency hold, or soft closed purchase order status. Clicking on the purchase order number hyperlink located in the leftmost column of the purchase orders table will take you to the purchase order details page. Once you click on the purchase order number hyperlink, you will be taken to the purchase order details page, where you will be able to select the Acknowledge checkbox to acknowledge the receipt of the purchase order. The buyer will then receive this acknowledgement in their Coupa system, and they will be aware that you have seen their purchase order and are working to create an invoice. You can see the Acknowledge checkbox outlined in red in the image on the screen. You can also request purchase order changes if your customer allows you to submit purchase order change requests and you have the order changes permission. You can request changes to purchase orders created in Coupa and submit them for approval to your customer. You cannot request changes to closed or soft closed purchase orders or purchase order lines. Again, you can check the status of the purchase order in the purchase order table, as previously discussed, to check if it is eligible to request changes. To begin the change request process, click on the Orders tab on the main menu, and on the appearing purchase orders table, click on the number of the purchase order that you want to modify. At the bottom of the purchase order, click on the Request Change button. After clicking on the Request Change button, you will be navigated to the Request Change screen. Here, you can edit the fields that your customer allows you to change. For example, the Ship To User field, Department field, Estimated Arrival Date on the Order field, or the Need By Date field, and several other fields. You cannot reduce the quantity or amount below the values already received or invoiced against on a purchase order. You also need to select your reason for the changes you are making from the drop-down list in the Reason for Change field. Some reasons can include that you cannot fulfill the order quantity or amount, the ordered item is no longer available, or you cannot fulfill the order by the need by date. At the bottom of the page, you can also add additional comments for your customer to provide context for the changes that you've made. Be sure to save or submit the change request when you are finished. Keep in mind, changes are only effective once a change request is approved by FHR. When a purchase order change request is rejected, you will receive the Order Change Request is Rejected notification in your Supplier Portal account. After submitting your change request and while waiting for your customer's approval, you can also view the pending changes if you click on the Click to View Pending Change statement written in blue at the top of the purchase order. This can be seen in the image on the left and outlined in red. You can also choose to withdraw your change request by clicking Withdraw at the bottom of the page. We will now review how to create purchase order backed invoices. To create an invoice from a purchase order that you received, navigate to the Orders page. On the Orders page, click on the Create Invoice for the PO you wish to create an invoice for. This is also the gold coins icon. If you hover over the gold coins icon, you will see the option to create an invoice. Once you click on the gold coins icon, you will be navigated to the Create Invoice page, where you will be required to add new or choose existing invoicing details, remit to or ship from address details as well. These choices will appear in a remit to address pop-up window prior to being navigated to the Invoices page. Something to note is that if you have more than one remit to address in your Coupa Supplier Portal profile, the Choose Remit to Address pop-up window will display before you are navigated to the Create Invoice page. If there is only one remit to address stored in your profile, Coupa will default to that address and there will be no pop-up window to choose an address, and you will be navigated directly to the Create Invoice page. Once you have chosen the correct Remit To address details, you will be navigated to the Create Invoice page. Here, you will use your own invoice numbering convention for the invoice number field. You will input the correct invoicing date. You will attach your invoice image scan if applicable. And when you are finished, you will verify that the auto-populated information at the header and line levels adjust as necessary as well. Once you are finished, you can click Submit the invoice to submit to FHR. Depending on the type of purchase order the invoice is being created for, you will need to modify different fields. For goods purchase orders that you are creating invoices for, you can update the price in the price field if needed, and you can update the quantity field if needed. These may change depending on available stock or fluctuations in market pricing, but it is not recommended to change the catalog order unit price. For services purchase orders you are creating invoices for, you will simply update the price in the price field only if needed. After populating the price and quantity fields at the bottom of the invoice creation page, you can add any shipping, handling, and tax information. You can add applicable tax in the proper section by either manually entering a tax percentage or manually entering a tax amount. Once you have entered the shipping, handling, and tax information as necessary, you can click the Calculate button to update the invoice total after all additional charges have been added. Also remember to enter any necessary comments for Flint Hills Resources and then select Add Comment to Post. Once you have completed all of the information required, click Submit. After you click Submit, a pop-up window will appear to confirm if you are ready to send the invoice, since invoices cannot be changed via email or CSP once submitted. If you wish to go back to edit, click Continue Editing in the pop-up window. And you can click Send Invoice to send the confirmed and completed invoice to Flint Hills Resources once you are sure that you have verified all of the information input. We will now review how to create credit notes. You can issue a credit note for a variety of reasons, such as to dispute on an invoice, correct an invoice, cancel a duplicate invoice, and many other reasons. To create a credit note, go to the Invoices tab and click on the Create Credit Note button. You can also create a credit note by navigating to the Orders tab and clicking on the red coins icon. Previously, to create an invoice, we clicked on the gold coins icon, but now to create a credit note, you will be clicking on the red coins icon in the Actions column of the Purchase Orders table. Once you click on the red coins icon, you will be met with a Create Credit Note pop-up window, where you will be prompted to select the reason for creating the credit note and the invoice and contract against which you are creating the credit note for. This can be seen in the image towards the bottom of the screen. Once you are finished inputting this information, click Continue. You will then be prompted to select the credit note correction type, and then you will click Create. Be sure to complete all of the necessary information. All required fields are indicated with a red asterisk at the side. Once you have completed all of the required material on the Create Credit Note screen, you will be able to click Submit. Note that if you are completely canceling the invoice, you can edit a variety of different fields, including the credit note number, credit note date, supplier note, and discount amount. You can also add attachments and an image scan and modify the PO lines, the UNSPSC code, and tax reason descriptions. All other fields will be pre-populated and are unable to be edited because the information is being carried over from the original invoice. Including the original invoice number and original invoice date also help to provide a reference for the credit note. Once you have filled in all of the required information details, you can scroll down to the bottom of the Create Credit Note page and click Submit. Note that before clicking Submit, you should check that your credit note total is negative. You are invited to a sourcing event when a sourcing manager sends a sourcing invitation to suppliers. Suppliers will receive an email from the buying organization to participate in the sourcing event. Once you receive the email invitation, click on View Event and follow the instructions in the email to go to the event. The image on the screen shows what you will receive in an email and how to navigate to the event page to view further details. Check the box that says I intend to participate in this event. You will then review and accept the terms and conditions of the event and click on Send to Event Owner once everything has been reviewed. You will then click on the now activated Enter Response button, which can be shown outlined in red at the bottom of the screen. Once you select this button, you will be able to view the details of the event and provide all the details marked with an asterisk sign for your responses. Depending on the event, you can see one or more of the following sections on the event page. The Attachments section, which includes files you received from the buyer that you will need to send back. The Questionnaire section, which includes questions that the buyer needs you to answer. And the Items and Lots section, which contains the Pricing section. You have several different options to respond and populate the sections listed on the previous slide. The options can be seen in the image on the screen outlined in red towards the bottom of the image. You will first click on the Export to Excel option. This option exports any questionnaires attached to the event that you need to fill out. It also exports the Items and Lots section into Excel where you can enter your price responses as well. Once you have finished entering your responses, you will then select the Import from Excel button, where you will upload your Excel responses to Coupa. You will then click Save, which will save but not submit your response to the buyer. Once you are sure that you have completed all of the necessary details and you are happy with your responses, you can click the Submit Response to Buyer button, which will submit your response to the buyer. If needed, you can also change your responses before the event is over and resubmit them if necessary. Once you fill in your answers in Excel and upload or import them to Coupa, you will be able to submit. And after submitting your responses, the response submitted to buyer notification is displayed on a green bar at the top of the screen to let you know of your submission. To double check if your response was received, you can check the history at the bottom of the event page by clicking on Load History button. We will now review some reporting capabilities you will be able to enjoy with the Coupa Supplier Portal. You can create custom views for orders, order lines, order changes, ASNs, invoices, and several other objects. To create a custom view, on the main menu, click on the tab for the function for which you want to create a custom view for. The example on the slide is displaying how to create a custom view for invoices. At the top of the table whose view you want to change, click Create View in the View drop-down list. On the Create New Data Table View page, you can select the customer for whom you want to change the view settings and then specify the settings you want to use for your custom view, including filtering conditions, columns to include, and sorting criteria. If you want to build your view based on another previously made view and modify those settings, you can use the Start with View option under the General Settings section of the Create View page. As always, make sure to save your changes when you finish creating your view and customizing your viewable columns in the orders in the table on the previous page. We will now review how to view supplier payment information. To view payment information, click on the Invoices tab. Using the View Payment Information, you can check on invoice payment status. You can navigate to the payment information view by clicking on the View drop-down list and selecting Payment Information. The highlighted column in the image on the screen shown will tell you whether you have been paid or not. You can also click into the invoice number by clicking on the hyperlink to view more detailed information. Once you click on the invoice number hyperlink, you can scroll down to the bottom of the invoice page for payment information and click the payment arrows to review more details. Now that you have received the foundational information needed to be prepared for the upcoming distribution of Coupa Supplier Portal invitations, we will review next steps that may be helpful in FHR's transition from Ariba to Coupa. As discussed at the beginning of this training, make sure to verify and complete the Coupa Supplier Portal profile and account information after accepting your invitation, along with any other information update requests that are sent. Please note that Coupa Supplier Portal invitations have not yet been sent out. They will be sent at the end of this week, and you will then be able to register and update your profile. We also recommend reviewing training and onboarding materials and communications. You should also align with your accounts receivable team for invoicing if you have not already done so. We also recommend that you contact FHR's procurement team to begin punch-out or hosted catalog setup prior to adding any catalog information in the CSP by yourself. Here you will find additional resources in our transition that will be helpful in our transition, including the Success Portal Guide for suppliers new to the Coupa Supplier Portal, the Coupa Supplier Portal login page, and the FHR Supplier Enablement Team contact. This concludes FHR's Coupa Supplier Portal training presentation. We hope you are as excited as we are. Please direct any additional questions to your FHR Supplier Enablement team at supplierenablement@fhr.com. We also welcome any suggestions you have about the training as well. This concludes our call. Thanks again for joining, and we look forward to working with you.